studios of the Republic Media Network, you're watching Arnab Goswami live on The Debate.
Arnab Goswami on The Debate at 10, powered by Nissan Magnite and Cred.
Welcome back, viewers, and now to the debate that I'm sure you and I and all of us have been looking forward to. So I'm going to keep my intro very short. The pictures tell the story, and I want to tell you, I'm going to open up the phone lines, and in a few minutes, I'll be speaking to at least 4 of you tonight, 4 live callers on this next half an hour debate, which is dedicated to the COVIDiots of India, the people who want to be the charioteers of the third wave. And the people, once they've ensured that there is a third wave, will be the first to point fingers at Prime Minister Modi. Let's debate.
Watch this video from Mussoorie that has now gone viral. In this undated video, hundreds can be seen at Kempty Falls. No masks, no precautions, and no concern of the ongoing pandemic. These images are not restricted to one corner of India. Watch how in hill stations in Himachal Pradesh, from Manali to Shimla, revenge travel by COVIDiots has become the norm. Hear the Himachal Pradesh DGP on just how bad the situation has gotten.
जब से अनलॉक हुआ पिछले महीने से औसतन 18,500 गाड़ियां एंटर कर रही हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश में. साथ ही साथ जो वर्क फ्रॉम होम है वो अब चेंज हो गया वर्क फ्रॉम हिमाचल.
In Uttarakhand, regions like Dehradun and Nainital are crowded unabated. These COVIDiots have forgotten how 85 days ago India was reeling with an oxygen crisis and the second wave was at its peak. In Srinagar, watch how people thronged to gardens for picnics during a pandemic. No restrictions, no masks, no protocol, no checks and no accountability by the government to control it. Now look at how in Charminar, revenge tourism is on full blast even as Telangana records 731 COVID cases in the last 24 hours.
In the last 24 hours, we see that near about 700 COVID cases have been registered in the last 24 hours. But also at the same time, as we are here in Charminar area of Hyderabad, where many people still not wearing masks, not maintaining social distancing. Well, now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also had earlier stated that COVID is not yet gone. We have to still fight with COVID-19. And also, as the COVID cases are at a downfall, but also people need to make sure that they maintain social distancing and wear masks when they are moving out.
Amid these blatant COVID-19 violations, the Prime Minister has given a message to his new Council of Ministers for the people of India. And even Prime Minister has flagged certain videos and pictures that has been visible from the past few days, that how the people in the crowded places are violating the COVID norms. Neither they are following the social distancing nor they are wearing masks. He says such pictures are giving the sense of fear to us.
The Health Ministry has warned against revenge travel.
कि एक स्थाई पर जिसे एक टर्म भी बोली गई है रिवेंज ट्रैवल, कि लोग जो घर में बैठे थे, जो रेस्ट्रिक्शन का समय था, जब रेस्ट्रिक्शंस खोली गई तो कहीं पर एक अभिप्राय समाज में किसी वर्ग में यह है कि अगर रेस्ट्रिक्शंस खोल दी गई तो वायरस खत्म हो गया है. हम आप लोगों के द्वारा फिर से लोगों की दृष्टि में लाना चाहेंगे, वायरस या इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज यह अभी भी हमारे बीच में है. यह ऐसा एक माहौल क्रिएट करेगा जिसमें अब तक जो गेन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कोविड जो हमने लिए हैं वह फिर से नलीफाई हो सकते हैं. वह फिर से हम उसको भूल के फिर हमें एक और चैलेंज का सामना करना पड़ सकता है.
But will the arrogant COVIDiots learn? And will the state governments pull up their socks to crack down on the COVIDiots that run the risk of a third wave?
सख्ती से कहा है कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का पालन हो और जो होटलों में भी जो है वो 50% आरक्षण की व्यवस्था के तहत जो है बुकिंग करी जाए। उसके लिए हम जल्दी होटल एसोसिएशन की भी मीटिंग बुलाने वाले हैं।
It's time to say COVIDiots go home. Let's debate.
Okay, so you can see we're going to open up the phone lines. I have Ketan Vaidya, Sujata Paul of the Congress, Reena Gupta of the Aam Aadmi Party, Ranjit Keshav from Thiruvananthapuram, Dr. Swati Maheshwari, Shivam Tyagi, Smita Prakash and Sanju Verma. Are these people shameless? Are they irresponsible? Or are they criminals? How would you describe them? Smita.
I think what has happened is that what your reporter also said from Simla, that people have been, sitting cooped up for over a year and a half, and it's suddenly, I think they have lost their sense of balance. And as much as I blame the people who are heading to these hill stations, I also blame the administration. If they saw 8,000 cars a day coming up, they could have stopped it. It can easily be done because there's one road which enters the hill stations, and from there they go to various places. So I don't understand how the administrations allowed it. And then after such a hue and cry and these viral videos have gone on air, after that they turn around and they bring about these restrictions of only 50 people at a waterfall. No, that doesn't work. And it's not just there. It's also Crawford Market in Bombay, it's Sarojini Nagar or Lajpat Nagar in Delhi, it's in Punjab. There are many places people are just violating these norms. And I can well understand when it comes to the travel industry, it's had such huge losses. I mean, there have been impetuses and things like that, but restaurants, travel spots, and especially when you're talking about Himachal and Uttarakhand, these two states depend a lot on tourism for their revenues. And when that revenue has fallen, they are under pressure from the tourism industry, from the hotel owners, from everybody to just open restrictions. But the way they have done it has been seriously detrimental. And even in the planes, I think there has to be really a rethink, because when you're talking about the travel industry, a number of people have lost their jobs, but it has to be gradual opening up. I can understand because 3.8 crore jobs have gone in the travel industry when it comes to several jobs, including the hospitality sector. So when you're opening up, it has to be gradual. Unfortunately, that is going to be the last one which will open up. So I understand the frustration of people sitting. Choose places which don't have such crowds. Do you have to go to Simla? In Uttarakhand, in Himachal, there are so many places that you can go to which are off the beaten path. Go there, mask up, and if you see crowds, move away from there. I think it's logical to do something like that and responsible.
But I'd now like to hear from Sujata. Sanju is going to debate with you, Sujata. 1 minute, Sujata, before you start. I hope this is one instance when you will spare Prime Minister Modi. Because as far as you're concerned, if the monsoon comes a day late, Narendra Modi is responsible for it. I'm sure, according to you, Narendra Modi met some people in his house, offered them tea, and then told them, all of you now go to Kempty Falls in Mussoorie and break all the rules.
Well, I think more than Prime Minister Modi, it is our Chief Minister who is to be blamed, because he's just taken, oath, and he's been in office for merely a few days. But instead of blaming merely him, I blame the administration, which is really, not in the control of our political bosses who are in power right now. And that is very sad. It is horrific to see these visuals of Kempty Falls. And mind you, there are other tourist spots also like Sestradhara.
No, what about these people? What about the people?
I'm coming to that.
No, 1 second. Did the administration, I'm sorry, I'm not defending any administration, but did the administration or the BJP government there also say to everybody who was entering in their cars that all of you collectively go jump into the little pool under the Kempty Falls and make sure that you create a scene? I mean, I mean, you're out of your mind. I mean, Sujata, for everything you give a political angle, and that's really shameful. That's why people are really getting upset. You have
No. You are out of your mind if you think that the administration is not to be held responsible, and I'll tell you why. Because Eva Ashish Srivastava, who is the DM of Thierry, took action after these visuals came in, and she has made sure that check posts.
But what about the people?
Established. Exactly.
What about the people?
Please, I request.
Are all those people also from the BJP?
Not to come to Shimla. They don't need to come.
Are all these people in the picture BJP workers?
But no, everybody. But the
They're from
point
RSS.
is, our tourism is also suffering, and our people need their jobs also. So we must strike a balance.
I don't get it.
What is
Okay.
very important is
Opening the debate right now.
Please, I must tell you
Sanju
that
Verma,
the
this morning to you.
Honorable High Court of Nainital, can I complete? The Honorable High Court of Nainital has come down heavily on the Char Dham Yatra being started, and it is not going to happen without the SOPs. And the larger question, the SOPs are very difficult to implement. The Kumbh, was very
Hashtag
big, but
stop
what is going to
COVIDiots.
be
I'm going to
really
change the
dramatic
hashtag in the middle of the debate.
is the
Stop
Kavar
COVIDiots.
Yatra. No, yes, and are we
The
going to
hashtag
call it
changes to
COVIDiots
stop
or no?
COVIDiots. Let's see
Are
the
we going to
response
call
of the
them
people tonight.
COVIDiots?
May I
Sujata, we have a quick debate, so I'm going to get a response right now from Sanju, and then I'm going to take the first caller.
Okay. Arnab, I think one thing that I agree is that district administrations, state administrations, they need to be held accountable. They need to be more alert and responsible. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been saying ad nauseum that despite taking vaccination, be it the first or the second dose, mask up, that is something that we cannot simply choose to ignore. Having said that, I repeat, what I fail to understand is why is it that we have a selective outrage when we are trying to castigate COVIDiots in Uttarakhand or in Shimla only because these are regions that come from states that are ruled by the BJP? Why is it that we do not discuss the fact that 48 hours back, Arnab, mind you, and I stay in Mumbai, 48 hours back, there were thousands who had crowded around the Juhu Kabristan on the eve of the burial of Dilip Kumar. Thousands had gathered and not a single iota of regret from Uddhav Thackeray. Uddhav Thackeray was leading from the forefront in being irresponsible and showing criminal apathy. What do you say about a state where the chief minister is leading a rally of thousands who are going to pay their homage to an ex-superstar? So please, let the Congress political analysts not give me any jumlas about accountability. I don't need any jumlas on accountability from Sujata, Paul or anyone from the Congress. Will Uddhav Thackeray apologize? More than 1.25 lakh people have died due to COVID in Maharashtra. Maharashtra accounts for 31% of the total COVID fatalities in India. Sujata, do not allow me to interrupt her. Why is it that when I talk, why is she interrupting me and you do no justice by allowing me to be heckled by
First caller on the debate right now. First caller, 1 minute viewers. 1 minute, please. Now, please, don't heckle, don't be heckled is my new policy. Opening up the debate, I'm going to make
an uninterrupted statement. Why there are no questions?
So too 5 other panelists.
Why are no questions being asked of Uddhav Thackeray? You want to discuss...
Who said no questions are to be asked? Ask all the questions you want.
But you don't want to discuss Maharashtra, the number one state in terms of COVID deaths in India.
Chief Minister,
you don't want to discuss Maharashtra.
Ketan is on the debate. He's from Mumbai.
It's also the number one state in terms of tracking and testing.
The number one state in terms of...
I am in Delhi and I cannot go to my home state Mumbai without a RT-PCR test.
In terms of mucormycosis cases, Maharashtra is number one in everything that has gone wrong during the COVID second wave. But people on this panel will talk about Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and pretend to be deaf, dumb and mute.
Ketan, Ketan, you may say you need an RT-PCR test to go from Delhi to Mumbai. Wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. But the fact is, whether you like it or not, that 50% of the total cases last week, Shivam Tyagi knows it, came from Maharashtra and Kerala.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
Yes. Yes.
Am I right or wrong?
Both this.
Absolutely right, Arnab.
And these states, yes, and these states also lead in not hiding figures. These states lead when it comes to tracking and testing, and these states lead when it comes to exposure to the travelers that come from all over the world.
From two states.
So you have to take things in perspective.
That technically means your system
diverging this debate to Maharashtra.
This time, it's time. I'd request the
when it comes to Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, it's clearly once bitten and not shy at all, because one had the instance of the Kumbh Mela where there was a spurt, there was a gigantic spurt in the cases, and what has happened? One has seen three chief ministers.
The problem is, it seems that entire North India is holiday in Manali right now. It is bad. I mean, at least Himachal Pradesh government has some guidelines. If you're not wearing mask in Himachal Pradesh, you may end up landing into a jail, or you may pay 8,000 rupees for not wearing mask.
Reena, let me tell you, Reena, I think part of the problem is, no, we must acknowledge this. A minute, Reena is on the debate. Shivam, 1 minute. I think part of the problem is this, populism of the state governments also. And Reena, you must understand why I'm saying this. And Swati is on the debate with you, Swati Maheshwari. She's an infectious diseases specialist joining us from Delhi. You are not penalizing people enough. And the medical community is sick and tired of COVIDians. You have to punish the COVIDians. You have to make life hell for them. You have to introduce spot fines. You have to bring in a sense of fear. A COVIDiot must feel that they will be publicly named and shamed. If you don't do it, then you must understand, already in Delhi we are hearing that there are small clusters of cases being reported. So tell us, for example, why does Delhi not get tougher? Why does Delhi not get tougher with COVIDians?
Arnab, Delhi is very tough.
Yes.
We have a 2,000 rupee fine for not wearing a mask.
That's not tough enough.
It's the highest in the country anywhere.
It's not tough enough.
Let me speak, Arnab. If you called me on your program, let me talk.
No, sure, but I don't feel it's tough enough. That's all I said.
So also, Arnab, one has to realize that the population and the size of this country, no matter what you do, it's never enough. The only way to deal with all this is actually to increase our pace of vaccination, which I'm very sad to say is actually going down again, Arnab. Today, we vaccinated only 30 lakh people. People have been staying, and I totally agree with you about COVID.
We'll bring Sanju to respond to you.
Taking personal responsibility. I'm fully with you on all of that. But Arnab, we have to realize that these states that we're talking about, Uttarakhand, Himachal, more than 50% of their GDP actually comes from tourism. The state government.
No, but you know.
Arnab,
I don't get this. No, Reena, can I counter you? Reena, can I counter you? Reena, can I counter you for?
Arnab.
Okay, so no. Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing before you come in? I'm bringing you in, Sanju, to respond to her, but I want to say one thing. As of now, viewers, today, 4% of the country has been vaccinated. 2 months from now, we could have more than 50% of the country vaccinated. And my question is, why can't we stop the COVIDians till then? I'd say 60 days of stopping the COVIDians, and we'll be in a much better situation. Right now, we are vulnerable. Yes. In fact, I have Venkatesh calling in right now. Venkatesh is calling in from Bengaluru. Venkatesh, hi. Venkatesh, hi.
Yeah. Just on a completely lighter note, I think some of your panelists need to practice vocal distancing. Anyway, see, somebody once said that the right thing is to do when nobody is watching you, unfortunately, in our country, even perfectly educated people, they only wear a seatbelt once they've known that there are no police checks on the road. They wouldn't wear it till there are any police checks. So with the kind of population, the amount of people we have, we need to enforce things.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree more with you.
Exactly. And there are new variants, Venkatesh. What worries me also, you have a Delta variant. I'm now hearing about a Kappa variant. I don't know what people are celebrating. Swati, what are people celebrating? I'm coming to you. I want to ask the COVIDians, what are you celebrating? It's as if it went away. Swati, can you tell us, not a horrific situation, tell me the real situation and the real worries, the real dangers. Swati.
There are a lot of worries right now, Arnab, because see, we haven't stepped out clearly of the second wave yet. We are still in the midst of the second wave, and the numbers which we were expecting to be 20 to 30,000 by now are still hovering somewhere above 40,000, which is very, very concerning. Secondly, we are hearing news about new variants coming up, and some of these variants even being able to, trick the vaccine antibodies as well. And I see this as sheer hypocrisy on part of a civilized, informed society, because when it comes to bashing the government about the preparedness, about the forefightedness, about of the second wave, then they are number one. When it comes to, we waste no time in comparing our country vaccination drive with the other countries' vaccination drives and the numbers and the pace and everything. But when it comes to our contribution, our code of conduct, our participation in the entire fight for the pandemic, then our old mantra is sab chalta hai. Because, which is very, very pathetic and very, very concerning as well, because we are still not out of the second wave, and we all are very well informed about the epidemiology of the disease. We know it is not a linear action. We know it is like a nuclear chain reaction when one person can lead to 10 more person. And right now, since our community does not have too much of herd immunity, and the vaccination antibodies are also, the numbers are not high, the chances of variants coming up now are even much more higher. So we can't, some people who are being very selfish about it, yes, we all went through this mental depression.
And this new variants, the new variants which are coming in, Swati, these new variants could also escape some of the vaccines. For example, we hear of a Kappa variant. Would this variant, would even those who've taken 2 shots of the vaccine be vulnerable to it?
Yes, the new studies that are coming out are suggestive that yes, the level of antibody the levels that we get after the vaccination of these antibodies are very, very low in terms of handling the variants. Also, we also know the kind of response that the body gives to these variants by natural immunity compared to the vaccine immunity at present is at stake right now. So we really need to be very careful when we are mingling around. We need to be very careful that we might be spreading these variants, which the test also might not be able to, right now surface them up. So
we have an international caller.
Negative right now. With
Adam
all
is calling from Washington, D.C. Yes, Adam. Sorry, I'm just taking more and more callers in.
Hi. My name is Adam. So I'm not going to blame the government or the people. I'm going to blame both. For starters, people need to learn to be more responsible. I was in India 3 months ago in Delhi. Before the second wave even started, it was just on the rise, and people didn't care. They were too relaxed, no wearing masks, no maintaining social distancing. The government is responsible, but people are equally responsible, and I say they're more responsible. When you've been asked to stay at home and be safe, you've got to sit at home. As a doctor who served in India for a while, I know at the end of the day it comes down to doctor ne mara. It's not in our hands to bring someone back from the dead. Please, it's people who have to be responsible first. Governments are responsible. The healthcare system isn't at a level that can sustain these many cases, which people need to understand. There's only so many beds available in the hospital for us to get someone on a ventilator. How many ventilators are available? And if you've been asked to stay at home, stay at home. It's more
stay
important.
At home, exactly.
You have to think about everyone else around. If someone else, you're not only putting yourself.
Adam, everyone's talking about their compulsions. You ask the governments and they say we have economic compulsions. Our sales tax figures don't work. We won't get the taxes. We don't have the revenue to pay government salaries. And that's what we hear from the government. And Ranjit, if you were to ask the people, they'd say, well, it's that running the economy is is their concern. I've got my vaccine. I'm a free person. So I think there have got to be both, maybe a system of penalties is the only thing which is going to work now. Strong penalties. I'm not sure if the government has the courage to actually impose the penalties. What do you think, Ranjit? Because in fact, Kerala has announced relaxations, and it's not just COVID. Kerala has also reported cases of the Zika virus. Ranjit, if you can hear me, I think it's too early to relax. I think announcing relaxations is a bad thing. Relaxations will be broken. I think it's irresponsible to relax too much now. Ranjit, can you hear me? I say pull back the relaxations. Pull back the relaxations for 2 months. What do you say, Ranjit? I say pull back the relaxations. There's no other way. Otherwise, we are opening ourselves for a third wave. I lost the line there, but I'm sure you can hear me.
Yeah, yes, Arnabji. Arnabji, so the most important point being, people should stop blaming the central government for everything. I think they have conveniently, have made up an excuse in the last probably 15 to 18 months that whenever there is a spike, whenever there is a phase 1 and phase 2, it becomes very convenient for people to blame the central government, and individuals can wash off their hands. State governments can conveniently wash off their hands, because when there is a total control, the state governments will take the credit, and whenever there is a spread, nobody is ready to take the brunt. Now, just imagine 85 days before, this nation witnessed people dying because of lack of infrastructure, lack of oxygen cylinders. Who was blamed? The central government was blamed. Now the central government has opened up a bit, and they're sustaining the economy. They're trying to maintain livelihood of the people. Now, who's to be blamed? Again, the central government is to be blamed. Now, for everything that is going wrong in this country with regards to COVID, if you're trying to blame the central government...
You ask this question to Reena. Ask Reena. No, you ask Reena. She's the spokesperson. You ask her.
Arnabji, just one more question. Just one more thing. No, just one more thing. Just one more thing. Please allow me to make one more point. That one of the panelists, he pointed out that it is because of Kerala's integrity with regards to COVID testing that we are coming out with the exact numbers. But sir, let me tell you, nobody here knows the exact reason why the numbers are spiking. None of the domain experts, none of the bureaucrats, none of the people from the health department, they are able to explain why the numbers are increasing. And the more challenging situation is not the spike, it is actually the plateau. The numbers are just oscillating between 11 to 15, 15 to 11, 11 to 15. And this was the same case during phase 2, where the numbers were oscillating from 4,000 to 5,000. So just coming out with numbers doesn't show the integrity. Just managing things don't come out, that doesn't display integrity. But you need to come out and tell the people why this is happening.
I'm asking.
And if people...
But I tell you why it's happening. I'll tell you why it's happening. Because one is, of course, because of COVID years. Unlike you, I think the first and biggest responsibilities of irresponsible people who are determined to be COVID carriers. And most of these people are so selfish, they've probably got the vaccine, they don't give a damn for others. They don't give a damn for the country. In fact, the real anti-nationals are the COVIDians. But the responsibility is also state governments. You resume the metro. 15,000 commuters use it every day. You resume the metro in Delhi. Reena, you're thinking about how can we not inconvenience our voter. Who opened cinema halls in Bengal? Why did they open cinema halls in Bengal? When they opened cinema halls in Bengal in 1st October 2020, after which the state recorded the single highest spike. You see, you want to be popular, Reena. It's not your fault. You want to fight elections, but aren't there other occasions to be popular? Other ways to be?
Can I speak now?
Yeah, please.
So Arnab, allow me sufficient time to explain. See, in this case, there are things which the central government has to do, there are things which the state government has to do, and there are things which each of us as individuals, as responsible citizens of this country has to do. And I'm totally with you when you say COVID rates, people not following COVID appropriate behavior. I'm totally with you. So I agree, each of us has to take that personal responsibility and make sure we are doing COVID appropriate behavior. Now, point number 2, Arnab, more than 60% of the population in this country is dependent on daily wages. So these, and with the inflation hitting the roof, petrol 100 rupees a litre, people are not able to buy LPG cylinders. In such a scenario, you cannot shut down the country. Sanju Verma.
Arvind Kejriwal
Okay.
did not provide a single ICU bed. He did not open a single hospital. He did not provide a single ventilator. You had a budget of 69,000 crores.
आपके सामने तो कोई नहीं बोल सकता, मैडम. आप बोलिए.
आप बोलिए. Arvind Kejriwal set up.
आप बोलिए.
You inflated the oxygen demand by 4 times.
Madam, Uttarakhand is your government, madam. Himachal is your government, madam. Can you please get your facts right first? Uttarakhand, Himachal is BJP government. The BJP government is going to court saying they want Chardham Yatra. The BJP government is going to court saying they want Kawad Yatra. So forget all this.
People are roaming around without masks in the Azad Nagar APMC Mandi. Will you talk about that? Will you talk about the fact that Kejriwal could not provide a single ventilator because the Modi government which provided ventilators to Delhiites from PMK's fund?
There you go. Politicians fight, people are responsible. Classic story in India.
There is no point discussing.
Eventually, nobody's going to take responsibility for the third wave. None of them.
He's a liar. He's photographed on TV.
Ketan also wants to come into the debate.
Open your eyes, madam. Madam Sanju Verma, open your eyes. Empty shore in Uttarakhand.
Why the hell did you spend 600 crores on advertisements, but you did not buy a single ventilator? That is criminal negligence.
Sujata and Shiva.
These pictures are from Masuri, Uttarakhand. 35 kilometers away from our houses, Kempty Fort. The city is flooded with tourists coming from Delhi, etc. Why are they being allowed? We have SOPs, but are they being implemented? The reasons are threefold. COVIDians are not following a COVID-appropriate behavior. But vaccination in this week has gone down by 18% compared to the previous week.
If you were to be in Noida, I would have taken you to the Jama Masjid. Lakhs and lakhs of people are gathering there. Nobody is doing anything. They need to be imposed with the heavy fines.
As our chief minister,
not on the ground. He's not doing anything. He's really not doing anything. You go visit any shopping mall, thousands and thousands of people are gathering there.
To be
Nobody's
much
there. And I visit Delhi on daily basis.
Biju Pillai is calling from Port Blair. Hi, Biju. Nobody's taking responsibility. The people don't, and certainly I don't see any of the political parties taking even one step towards greater responsibility, towards real curbs.
Definitely. I am from Port Blair, which is a scenic natural beauty.
Yeah, Biju, go on.
The governments are, and the government whom they are blaming, representing any of the political parties or a citizen of this country, all are abiding with the Constitution of India. Constitution has given the right, similarly has given some certain duties and responsibilities. When they are representing a political party or any or NGO,
totally.
Why don't they go for creating a massive atmosphere to be appropriate COVID behavior, to behave like a sincere citizen of the country? Where is the
Biju, you got to crack the whip. Biju, in our country, Biju, I'll tell you, we have to crack the whip. We cannot be soft. I mean, we have. Sujata's one minute, Biju, you're getting a response, right? You're getting a response. Go on. Yes, go on. I hear you.
Second COVID wave originated in rural Punjab. Why no questions of Amrinder?
It doesn't matter where it originated anymore.
It is coming into Uttarakhand because of low vaccination, low testing, and of course, COVID inappropriate behavior. Who is responsible for implementing these SOPs? It is the state government. It is the BJP government. We wasted.
Why the question of Ashok Gehlot?
Okay. Shaurya is calling in from Gurgaon right now. Hi, Shaurya. Go on, Shaurya. Don't wait. Yeah, carry on. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
The visuals that have been revealed. So basically, we can see the irresponsible behavior. And as an individual, if I'm leaving for a hill station, like I won't think it will be overcrowded or not. So I don't know from my side. I'll go to enjoy, but definitely the government administration over there should know how many people are entering, like how many cars are coming in, either 5,000 or 10,000. Definitely, they should take action that then and there. They shouldn't wait for the next day and next day again to see how many people are entering. I think the action should have been taken as soon as possible, because people are not scared. The only fear they have is dande ka dar. They are not scared of anything.
I agree with you, Shaurya. You know, when we say things like this, then they say you have an extreme view. That's what you said. What you're calling dande ka dar, it works. I mean, that's the only thing which works. Or just stop the area, stop tourism for a while. What will we lose? The waterfall's not going to go away in 2 months. It's the way people are behaving out there. You know, Smita, it's as if this waterfall will not exist ever. This is your last chance to go under a waterfall. I mean, I don't want to be funny about it. You're so desperate to go under a waterfall, go home and take a shower. But don't do this. I mean, this is madness of another level. Yes, please, Smita. Thanks, Shaurya. That was a fantastic point. Smita, people are beginning to understand. I just hope this spreads some awareness.
I agree with the gentleman who spoke from Gurgaon that yes, since all these hill stations, they basically have one, whether it is Ooty, whether it is Darjeeling, whether it is Lonavala, whether it is Mahabaleshwar, whether it is Simla, whether it is Manali, they basically have one main road which goes up the hills. So you stop it at one point of time, but that doesn't mean that we do a danda. You just have a rule. We have to understand, and what this COVID has shown us, this pandemic has shown us is that when they said lockdown, everybody followed that lockdown principle. So we know how it works. So if you say that you cannot enter the hills, that means we have already had a sufficient number of people here. The hotels are full. The restaurants are working fine. The tour operators are doing good. This kind of visual that you saw under the waterfall is totally unnecessary. So I don't think that shutting everything down is an option. No, we just can't do that. That shut the metro, shut DTC, shut BEST. No, we can't do that anymore, because we have already gone into a position where crores are out of jobs now, Arnab. So we can't blanket shutdown of all hill stations. Allow tourism to carry on, but at a limited level. That is my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with you, because pictures are scary, and there are some threats which are visible, like you just saw the pictures there, you know, which have got everyone talking, and there are other threats which are, as of now, not as apparent, and that takes me to my last news piece tonight on the debate. I thank everyone on this debate.